Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, the Celtic crossword as always, and also pulled the 4 agreements, oracle card, and mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, let's see what we get. Ooh. Alright, we have Neptune. So Neptune's actually in Pisces, which is your 4th house of home, family, roots. Okay, we have 8. So 8th house for you guys is Cancer. Astrologically speaking, there's not much going on there, but that represents death, rebirth, investment, intimacy. And we have Leo. So for you guys, Leo is your 9th house of higher learning, foreign affairs, spirituality. So looks like those will be the focuses for you guys this month. Nothing really going on in Leo, astrologically speaking, either, but we'll keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. Alright, in the main situation position, we have the Star, which is Aquarius energy, and the 7 of Wands, which is actually a Leo energy, so we do see something coming out along with that dice. So what I feel like this is saying for you guys, Aquarius, is your 3rd house communication. So primarily what I see with this is you could get some insight around the situation. Usually the Star card is the card that comes after the Tower moment. So when I see this can point to some of you might have gone through a difficult situation recently, but through that process you might have learned a lot, right? And now you could be speaking out of that new enlightenment, but in the process of doing so, you might actually find that there's some resistance to what you're saying, right? So that's primarily what I see with that. It could just be where you go through an experience, you speak from that experience, but you might find that there's some resistance to that idea, whatever it may be. But it does look like you'll be able to successfully defend your view. Defend your view, because with this perspective, it looks like you would actually, even if there is some kind of detraction from people with what you say, looks like you'll be able to speak out and actually win over those people in the long run. Alright, in the challenger obstacle position, we have the 4 of Swords. So this is actually Libra energy here, and this could just be pointing to what you've gone through, right? Maybe you've gone through a cycle of reflection around whatever the situation was, and through that healing process, that could be where you got that insight, right? For a much smaller percentage of you, this could just be saying that before you speak out in such a way, it could just be asking you to actually reflect on it a little bit, right? Maybe take that Libran type of perspective where you're like, okay, what I say might rub some people the wrong way, right? So how could I actually word it in a way that kind of avoids that? So that could be what it's calling for some of you to do. But yeah, for the majority of you, it's more, I feel like it's more the first thing where it just is saying that in order for you to get to that situation of enlightenment, you might have had to go through a difficult situation and go through the healing process. Alright, in the foundation position, a lot of cards came up. We have the Hangman, which I usually view as Pisces energy. We have the 3 of Pentacles, Capricorn, 6 of Pentacles, Taurus, 6 of Wands, Leo, and 2 of Pentacles, Capricorn. So really what I'm seeing with this, the first thing that came to mind with this was you guys seeing things from a different perspective, which relates to what we see with the Star card there, and possibly coming up with a new way to collaborate with people. For some of you, this could even involve giving back, so possibly in some charitable sense, for example, I should say. So, I don't know, well, maybe you're seeing some of the things going on in the world, for example, and you decide that you want to find some kind of way to give back, right? With the 6 of Wands, it looks like you will be celebrated for this, but also with that 2 of Pentacles, what I see with that, it could just be saying that just be mindful of this might be one of those things that where it might never end, where it's like, okay, you start the process of giving back, and then you might realize, okay, well, there's so many causes to give back to, right? So you just might get caught up in a never-ending loop of feeling like you're just constantly in that cycle. So that would be the only thing to watch out for, to just be mindful of it seems like your heart would definitely be in the right place, but just be mindful of that, this might be more of a long-term thing than you may expect going into it. All right, in the past position, we have the Ace of Cups, the Two of Swords, Libra energy, and the Five of Cups, Scorpio energy. So what I see with this could just be saying that in the past you might have actually had an opportunity for some kind of a love offer or possibly even a creative project. And I feel like this is saying you might have really sat on the opportunity, right? Trying to figure out, okay, do I want to follow through with that or not? And I feel like what that's saying is you might have found that you waited too long, and in the process there was some disappointment around that, right? So it could just be as simple as this. So just to give it a generic example, because it's not going to be love for all people. Let's say someone made a offer to you, maybe they asked you out on a date or something like that, right? And you didn't necessarily say no, but you might have just been thinking it over, and possibly through the process of doing so, it might have taken you so long, the person might have just viewed it as a rejection and possibly moved on, right? And then you had some regret around that because you're like, oh, I actually eventually decided that I did want to be with this person, but now it looks like they're engaged elsewhere. You know what I mean? Could just be something like that, where it was just something where you wanted to make the right decision, but in doing so, might have waited too long and lost the opportunity in the process. All right, in the present position, we have the Three of Wands. So this is Aries energy here, and what this could just be saying is for some of you, you feel like you've put in work around a certain situation, and now you're just waiting to reap the rewards of that work. So it could just be one of those things where you're taking a bit of a step back, right, with the confidence and the realization that, okay, you've already put in your work. Now it's just a matter of time before those things come back to you. And this could just be pointing to a timeline as well, because this card represents the middle 10 degrees of Aries, and that's pretty much right where we'll be when we start April. So that could be the energy you're in during that time. All right, in the near future position, we have the World. So whatever the situation seems to be around, like I said, it looks like some kind of insight you guys have gotten through your own experiences. You might speak out about it, and it may be received in a bit of a controversial way, right? But like I said, it is okay. You would be winning people over around with that anyway. It just might take them a little while to adjust to it. And with the World card in your future position, to me, this shows a successful completion, right? So whatever the situation was, it looks like you were being led to actually speak out on it. And in the process of doing so, looks like this represents that successful completion there. It was something that was meant for your path, for you to actually do that. So that's what I see with that. Usually I view this as North Node energy, also a bit of Capricorn energy, Saturn energy, but yeah, that looks like something that karmically speaking you were meant to go through, and through that process you've successfully done so. All right, in the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Fool. So this kind of goes with what I was seeing there, where I was saying, it looks like you guys, your hearts will totally be in the right place, but it looks like you might get into the cycle of, okay, I want to give back in some way, right? But then possibly just not realizing that you might get more than you bargained for in that process, right? So like I said, it doesn't, just a super generic example, maybe you decide that you're going to do a weekend of charity work or something like that, right? And you go through it, and then you realize, or they might ask you, hey, could you come back the next weekend too, right? So you might actually do it, but it could just be one of those things where you didn't account for it being a continuous process in the beginning. So it could just be something along those lines there. But yeah, looks like whatever the cycle is that you guys have gone through, it's opened your eyes to some things, and now you're actually just feeling a lot lighter and actually able to open up more to new opportunities. All right, in the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here. At the time of recording this, we haven't had that full moon in Virgo just yet. But that's what this makes me think of there. And for you guys, it is your career and social status house. So for some of you, this could just be saying, again, maybe getting creative with ways to generate income, right? Maybe because you're deciding that you want to engage in some charitable type of things. But yeah, it could just be saying that that's where your focus is in general. You're like, okay, how can I actually help out in whatever the situation is, right? And this is you actually putting in the work to do so. For some of you, this could represent someone in your environment that's very focused on work as well. But I feel like for the majority of you, it's going to be more your energy that we're seeing here. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is Libra energy here. And what I feel like this is saying for the majority of you, especially for you guys, Libra energy representing house friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes, could just be saying that when you do take on whatever this cause may be, that you're hoping that your friends will actually join you in that and support you in that. All right. In the outcome position, we have the Three of Swords. So yeah, this is Libra energy again here. And what I see with this, I feel like this is saying that you might actually find yourself a little bit disappointed in the response from your group, right? So, like I said, let's say you speak out around a situation or you really feel passionate about trying to help out some charitable cause, right? And you might ask your friends in your environment, hey, could you guys come help me out with this, right? And you might feel like you get a really lukewarm response from them, where you're more optimistic, like, oh, once I tell them that this is the plan, hey, we should totally do this, you might find that you feel a lack of enthusiasm from them, you know? And it could even lead to an ending of some friendships for some of you too, because there will be a full moon in Libra as well. And being that that's going to take place in your house of friendships, there could be some endings there. But that's what I see with that. All right. And bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here. So yeah, this kind of aligns with what the energy was that I was feeling there. Like I said, it feels like you're going to get this this passionate light within you that's like, oh, I really want to help out. I really want to do this thing, right? And it could just be partially due to the fact that there's, at the time of recording this, there's going to be lots of Aquarius energy moving through, and some of that's going to last into April as well. So it could just be having your house of communication lit up with so many different activities. It could just be that that's what's really making you a bit more outspoken and really want to jump into something. And since this card almost came up too, we will acknowledge that we do see the King of Cups here too. King of Cups is Scorpio energy, and they actually are the natural rulers of the 8th house, and we did see that come up in your dice as well. But yeah, could just represent that you guys are really just tapping into your intuition and really feeling things out, right? So you might even get some intuitive nudge to go down this path, and that might be what even starts it from the beginning, where you're like, okay, all of a sudden, maybe you have some kind of a dream or some weird synchronicity that tells you, hey, this is the path that I want to pursue, right? And like I said, you might go down that path, but then you just might find yourself a little bit disappointed that there wasn't more support within your friend group around that. And I would say the only other thing to keep in mind with that too could just be saying to be careful of not being taken advantage of, right? Because you could be coming from from what I'm seeing here, it looks like your heart's 100% in the right place, but just try to be mindful of making sure that no one tries to take advantage of that, right? And ask too much from you. All right, so moving on to your 4 agreements card, we have don't take anything personally. There we go. And it says, see other people as they are. All right, let's see what the message says. There we go. It says, when you see other people as they are without taking it personally, you can never be hurt by what they say or do. Even if others lie to you, it is okay. They are lying to you because they are afraid you will discover that they are not perfect. So definitely an interesting message there. That might be a helpful message for you guys where, like I said, if you do find that there's some disappointment within your friend group where, like I said, you might tell them this thing you're passionate about and feel like they're not supporting you as much as you'd like, that could be one of those things. Or, like I said, for some of you, be on the lookout for people to possibly take advantage of your generosity this month. So if that's the case, if you do experience that, hopefully that message resonated with you there. All right. Next, we have Round and Round. There's the artwork, and the number is 25, and this is from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, by the way. All right, let's see. Okay, this says, the spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated, cycles you are challenged to break, revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. The Oracle's message. The appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there, and that seems to align with what I was saying with the Star card, where you guys might have gone through something recently with that 4 of Swords and the challenge as well that you might have been healing from. So hopefully that resonated. All right, the relationship message says, are you wondering, how did I get here again? Does something feel familiar right now in your dynamics with others? Maybe a little too familiar? Don't be surprised that you found yourself repeating an old story with the same sort of person who may not look similar, but who attracted you because of your easy acquaintance with his or her qualities. Your relationship is a mix of what is good and what is potentially challenging. You have been drawn to this person through the perfection of Spirit's plan for your evolution. You may have circled back to an accustomed spot, a familiar place, but that's fine, as you get to do things again, only differently this time, for you learned something of great value since the last time around. How will you choose to behave now that you're aware? Remain curious and stay out of the blame game. So, pretty positive message there as well. I will say, from when I was reading through the spread, I didn't get much of a one-to-one relationship vibe from the spread, but hope it resonated with some of you, and worst case, the love readings will be out next week. Okay, the prosperity message says, if you're in a scenario that appears to be an echo of something that's already happened in the past in your work life, it is because you're being invited to see what you couldn't see before. This is a perfect time for you to look at the deeper motives you have and your attraction to the opportunities and people who have entered your life to be part of your journey to prosperity. Who helps you navigate? Who sabotages you? Who supports you? What are the familiar signs and your responses to them when you find yourself in a repeat of a pattern of the past? It's a good time to get a coach or mentor who can help you see what you can on your own. Repeat what works, not what doesn't. Then you will free yourself from the old cycles and cease going round and round. So, pretty interesting message there, too, as far as talking about who helps you navigate, who sabotages you, who supports you. So that could be some of the reflection that you're going through as well with your friend group, like we mentioned, given that you have that 11th house energy coming through for you. But hope it resonated with you guys. We'll wrap up there. Oh, actually, sorry, I forgot we got a Mudra card, too. So, this is your Mudra here. It's the Garuda Mudra, and the keyword for it is maturity. Alright, there's a lot of info on this card, but let me see if we can get it all in the frame there. Yeah, so under benefits, it says improves intelligence, increases digestive fire, activates Manipura chakra, builds martial prowess, and according to legend, serves as protection against snakes, snake bites, and venom in general. So if that sounds like a mudra you think will be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name in the description of the video as always. Now we'll wrap up. Hope you guys have a good month. I'll see you all next month. Alright, bye.